Boom. On average, just in the United States, about 220 people die every single day from an opiate overdose. And by the time we finish this show, 8 to 10 people are going to die from an opiate overdose. If we get even one person, one viewer with this program that we might be able to help with some of the information that's shared on here, then it's all worth it. Hey everyone, it's Glenn Victor. Welcome to the Dare Me podcast. Pete, we are coming to you live from San Francisco. We are right outside of Oracle Stadium, and we are here at the final show of the Grateful Dead, or Dead and Company, as they describe themselves as now. That, of course, ever since Jerry Garcia passed away. Bob Weir is still in the band, the legendary Bob Weir. And, of course, they've got John Mayer playing that guitar and all the rest of the band. This is the final show of this tour. And as they're saying, the final show that the Dead will ever do. That's a slide from last week's show that we just saw there. That was a gremlin.
Yeah, sorry about that. That just kind of popped up.
Well, hey, since you chimed in, let's bring my boy Dean Baker in from all the way over on the East Coast in Orlando, Florida. There he is live at Post Effects Digital Studios. Hey, Dean, what's happening, bro?
Glenn, great to see you. Looks like you're in for one hell of a concert tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a blast. I was at the show last night, and it was legendary, man. I mean, it really was that good. And so I was a little on the fence about going to the show again tonight. I knew we were going to go live here from San Francisco, but I wasn't sure where. And after being here last night, I said, oh, we got to do the show from outside of the stadium. So I want to put a little disclaimer out there. We kind of feel like we're walking on eggshells with this show tonight with our connection. So hopefully we keep a good connection. It doesn't get choppy or anything like that. And have a good show. We're probably only going to go for about an hour. We're not going to do any news or current event shout outs. So I do got a couple of shout outs I'm going to do in a second, but nothing real in depth like that. But we do have a cool interview we're going to do in just a second. Yeah, it's going to be a good show. So you good on your end, Dean?
Yeah, I don't know if you're either touching your microphone on your earbuds, or because there's a lot of noise, a lot of something being like manipulated a lot, and I could hear microphone noise. So if you're touching the cable, then it's probably making noise. So you'll wanna watch out for that. Anyway, that's fine. Okay. That's fine. It sounds better. It sounds cleaner now, but it just
Well, I actually was holding the tripod because it's real windy here. It's real windy.
I'm getting that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can see, but there is a huge crowd behind me. Whoa! See, there's the wind blowing again. I had to grab the little tripod. You know what?
I'm gonna play news anchor and said, Glenn, so what's the mood of the public out there tonight?
They might not have nice machinery over. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm losing connection, Dean. Anything can happen live, y'all. We got dogs coming out now.
Sorry.
I mean, literally.
Oh, yeah, your dogs. The dogs came into the shop. The show has gone to the dogs.
Man. Anything can happen live. Yeah, the show has gone to the dogs. But hey, like I said, anything can happen live. Yeah, they're gone now. We're in this little area. Yeah,
I'm gonna play announcer anchorman here. What's the mood of the public tonight?
Oh God, everybody is in such a great mood. There's a good vibe going on. You can just tell if anybody's ever been to a Dead show, you know what I'm talking about. I will say I sense this, and maybe it's just me, but I do sense something in the air, if you will. For those of y'all that know me well, know I believe in energy and vibes, and there does seem to be almost this this feeling of it's the end of an era, tonight, because not only is the tour coming to an end, and that's what I started to say earlier, is that the Dead shows are coming to an end. But I was talking to my boy Jeremy, who we're going to bring on in just a second. He's literally standing right next to me. I was talking to him last night, and his beautiful wife Katie, the beautiful Katie's here too. Can I show you guys real quick? Yeah. Okay, here, I'm going to turn the camera real quick, Dean. There they are. They're waiting to join the podcast, y'all. We got a nice little spot here, beautiful, as you just saw. But I was talking to them last night that, this is big business, man. Taking the music out of the equation and the legends, the Grateful Dead and everything. There's like over 40,000 people here tonight. This is the third show in a row. You having trouble hearing me, Dean?
It's just there's a lot of like you're hitting the microphone, so I know you're holding on because it's windy, but
yeah, I just moved in. I moved a little to the side, so now I'm not holding it. Is that better? Yeah, I can't hear you now, bro. I think I have to be out here. Okay, now I got you back.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Seems like I have to be in this spot for you to pick me up.
No, it was all of a sudden. I think I have a short in my mic cable, and because I moved it into the other room. Anyway.
Okay.
So
so what I was saying is that because of the amount of money involved in this tour, we were talking that we have a feeling something of some fashion will continue on, whether it includes, Bob Weir or anybody else from the band. Of course, John Mayer, he's going to keep playing, whether he does just his solo stuff or whatever. But as an institution, if you will, this really is supposed to be the last Dead show. Some form of the whole gathering, if you will probably continue on, but that's yet to be, seen or talked about so
Gotcha.
much. So, but anyway, so that's that. But let's talk a little bit about the Dare Me podcast, y'all, because I always like to do this every show. And I'm just going to do it real quick tonight. And then we're going to bring my friend Jeremy on, who's here. I bumped into him. They're from Detroit. I've known Jeremy since he was a little kid, actually. And now he's a grown-ass man. But I bumped into him last night at what's called the Wharf Rats meeting at the Dead show, which, if you don't know, is a meeting of people who live clean and sober that get together during the intermission at Dead shows. And, they have basically, it's not an NA or an AA thing, but it's very similar to that. It's just people living clean and sober who get together and kind of cheer each other on, encourage each other, and share how grateful they are to be at a Grateful Dead show, pardon the pun, and doing it clean and sober. Because, the Dead always had a reputation of people tripping on acid, and certainly there's those that are here doing that. You can tell, especially when you've been there and done that, you can spot it a mile away, but there's a lot of us that live clean and sober that, go to shows like this. And so anyway, y'all, yeah, man, the Dare Me podcast is all about trying to help people struggling with addiction. Really, for me, this last time around, because this ain't my first rodeo living clean and sober, it was all about the opiates. I got hooked on the pain meds, and at the end of it, I was fucking snorting heroin because I'd get dope sick and couldn't get the pills, man. Never thought in a million years something like that would happen to a guy like me, but it did. And now, thank God, I've been clean for, about 2 years and 4 months again. And, man, I hope I never have to live like that ever again. And so through that whole process of getting clean again, I decided I'm going to do a fucking podcast, and put myself out there and see if we might be able to, as we say in the intro to this show, help anyone with the things we talk about on this show. Because when I was trying to kick and get clean, I was looking for information online on Google, YouTube, as I've said on this show many times, and I came across some good stuff. There's good stuff out there, but I never came across like anything like what we're doing. What we're doing is different, and we talk about things you see in them hashtags at the top of the stream. drugs, addiction, recovery, which we've already talked about in just 10 minutes on this show. We talk about enlightenment, we talk about music, which of course we're talking about tonight. We talk about fitness too, if you go to the Dare Me podcast YouTube channel, Facebook page, all the things, we're live right now on like 4 different Facebook pages, a couple different YouTube channels. We're live on Twitter. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on Threads. We're on all the platforms. And if you go to that Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel, click the video tab, all the episodes are there. I can't even remember. I think this is like the 17th episode of this show or whatever. And we've touched on all those topics. But obviously today it's all about the music and living clean and sober, y'all. So with all that said, that's the purpose of the show. And we just thought it'd be kind of cool to do this edition of the show live here in San Francisco, outside of the very last Grateful Dead show, or Dead and Company, as they call themselves now. And yeah, man, everybody's filing into the Oracle Stadium. That's where the San Francisco Giants baseball team plays. And we are literally out on the street. I'll just kind of give you a view of everything going on around here. It's slowed down a little bit because a lot of people are already in the stadium, y'all. But it was really kind of crowded out here a little bit earlier. So anyway, with all that said, y'all, I'm going to bring in our guest tonight. We're going to talk to my old friend, man. Well, I don't mean to call you old, bro, but we're going to, yeah, you can sit down right next to me. Let's bring in my boy Jeremy. There he is from Detroit. Yeah, you go on that side. There you go. This is Jeremy from Detroit City. You got to look here. There you go. That's Jeremy from Detroit City. Hey, Dean, I just want to make sure you're picking us up, bro. We good with you, Dean? Everything good on your end in Orlando?
Everything is great, Glenn. Everything's
awesome.
Good on my end.
All right, y'all. So that's our co-host and producer, Dean Baker, back at Post Effects Digital Productions in Orlando, Florida. And we, of course, are live here in San Francisco on the West Coast. Jeremy, thank you so much, bro, for being on the show today. Jeremy, again, as I said, y'all, is an old friend of mine who I've known since he was like knee-high. I originally met his mom, Diana, who also lives in Detroit, at one of the very first NA meetings I used to go to way back in, probably met your mom in like 87, because I first started going to the program in late 86, like November, December. So I probably met her in early 87 at a meeting that was called the Rebirth Group at the old Veterans Hospital near Southfield Freeway and Outer Drive in Detroit. It's no longer there. Now there's like a shopping plaza there or whatever. And now here we are, jump ahead however many years later. If you don't mind me asking, Jeremy, how old are you now, bro?
45 years old.
45 years old. Yeah. And here we are.
I'm sorry,
bro.
that's a baby. He's a baby in this group.
Dean's saying you're a baby in this group. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, Jeremy, I got to tell a little bit of a quick story that I feel like kind of a latecomer to the party at the Grateful Dead shows. I went to my first Dead show last summer in Detroit at a place, an outdoor theater called Pine Knob. So I'm definitely late to the party, because there's people who are like, followers of the Dead who've been following them religiously, for years, man, going back to the 60s or 70s, And so when I went last year, I went with a group of people from the program in Detroit, and I bumped into you and your beautiful wife, Katie, at the Wharf Rats meeting at Pine Knob. And it's the first time I was ever to a recovery meeting where people live clean and sober at a concert. And it was during the intermission, because Grateful Dead do, they don't have warm-ups. They do a set for like an hour and a half or whatever. They break for about a half hour, have an intermission, then they come back and do another hour and a half or so. So that's where we bumped into you there. And I didn't even know you were there. And I was like, wow, how fucking cool is this? So you know, Jeremy, I really want to hear from you, man. I'm running my mouth like crazy. I'm all wired up being here at the show. So tell us a little bit about, you know, your history with going to Dead shows and the Wharf Rats meeting and that whole thing. So
listen, I'm a late bloomer as well.
okay, speak louder though, so everybody can hear you.
I'm a late bloomer as well.
All right.
When I met my wife, she had been to a real Grateful Dead show with Jerry Garcia in the late 90s.
Right.
And when we got together, she introduced me to the music. And 2016 came along, and they started touring again with John Mayer. So that's when I went to my first show. I fell in love with it. The music's super bluesy, super chill. And I fell in love with it. So ever since then, ever since 2016, they've been touring every year. They do a summer tour, fall tour, and we've been hitting multiple shows every year. And this was the only year we hadn't been to a show because of some family issues. And we were like, screw it. On Monday, we decided to get some plane tickets, worry about the tickets, the stadium tickets later, and here we are.
And doing it clean and sober. How cool is that? How long you been clean this time, Jeremy?
This is the only time.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I guess I'm just so used because I've relapsed 3 times. So, you know.
I went to treatment in 2004.
August
17th, 2004, and I've been clean ever since.
Well, that's fucking awesome, bro.
So that's almost 19 years.
Wow. How cool is that, man? See, just goes to show, man, you know, you can do this thing. If you're a person who comes across our podcast, as I always like to say on this show, if you're like me and you were looking for information online, whether it's Google, YouTube, how to kick opiates, how to get through opiate withdrawals, how to kick an addiction, whatever it might be, and you just happen to come across our stuff, maybe you're watching live right now. Another prime example of how you can fucking do this, man. You can get through it and live your life clean and sober, become a wharf rat like my boy Jeremy and I, you know, and live your best life, be able to come to shows just like this and have a great time. So that's freaking awesome, Jeremy. Now, I got to tell you, man, you were talking a little bit about the concert, and it is very bluesy. Everybody's vibing and stuff. And, you know, not to make like racial or ethnic differences or anything like that. You know, I'm about the least prejudiced person you would ever fucking meet in your whole life. And anybody who knows me well knows that to be true. What I'll also say is there ain't no black people here. This is all white people. And as I was watching everybody vibing last night, all I could think to myself was, God damn, I love white people, but motherfuckers cannot dance, man. They can't dance.
They have a special way of dancing.
Oh, yeah, they do, man. But it's all good. Everybody just vibing, you know. But all my brother friends, man, y'all can throw down. So I got the moves myself, you know, because I grew up in the hood. I got that ghetto side to me, man. I was taught at an early age, so I'm a good dancer, believe it or not. I really think so. But anyway, it is such a fun time going in the show. I will tell you, y'all, for these shows, the tickets were not cheap, you know, and we even were talking about it. Like, I went to the Claire Rosencrantz show here in San Francisco on Friday night at a smaller hall called August Hall, and I paid $25 for my ticket. And I got into the VIP section. I was like right up at the stage, like 10 feet from her. And it was fucking awesome. Tickets for this show going like rafter seats, minimum of $200 up to thousands if you look on Ticketmaster.
$25.
Yeah, back in the old days in the 70s. Yeah. So, you know, but the thing is if you're willing to wait, like, till the show, like, I don't know if y'all can hear it. Dean, can you hear the music in the background? Because the show actually started. That is the Grateful Dead you're hearing in the background right there.
I I can hear something, but I can't make it out.
Yeah. We're, across the street from the stadium, but the concert started for some reason an hour early tonight. The last because this is the third night here in San Francisco. Last night was originally supposed to be the last night of the tour and last show for the Dead, but they added Sunday night because of popular demand and probably for more money. So tonight's show was added to the bill kind of last minute or late notice. And the first two shows started at 7, but tonight for some reason started at 6. But it's all good because, as you can see, it's still light out and shit. And so, it's a school night. Tomorrow's a work day for people. But the vibe, the early part of the show is cool. But I love it once it gets dark out, man. The light show for this show is really intense, wouldn't you say, Jeremy? So, bro.
It always is.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this, Jeremy. So we talked about the show and everything. And, the podcast is, again, about helping people to get through addiction and hopefully start living clean and sober. And we talked a little bit about the Wharf Rats. So tell us, for our listeners and viewers, tell us about the Wharf Rats, man, and what your experience has been attending them Wharf Rat meetings at the Dead shows.
Okay, so...
Remember, speak up so they can hear you.
So my early interaction, super nervous, something new, a new fellowship of people.
Right.
But as I continued to go to shows and continued to go to the meetings, it's like when we're up there talking, I've shared a couple of times, and it's more of like a gratitude meeting.
Yeah.
Grateful for being able to get to a show,
Yep.
not have to use drugs to enjoy the music.
Yes.
And to share it.
Yep.
With other people. And
Yep.
I can't remember the guy's name. I think his name is August something.
Okay.
He's the guy who started the Wharf Rats.
Oh, yeah. There's a history about it online if you Google it. Yep.
And it's just, he created this vibe, this meeting, this platform for people to go to the Yellow Balloon Club.
Yeah.
For people to go during set break or to meet up before, after, and do it without the use of drugs.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Yellow Balloon Club because at the spot where they have the meeting at whatever show it's at, they have a big yellow balloon that they fly so you know where to go to find the meeting. And everybody gathers there, and then they have like little stickers at the table, and it's just a really cool vibe. And another thing about the story, there's a song, and I can't remember it. My memory isn't serving me well right now, but there's a song with a verse in it about a wharf rat and this old dude who was an old drunk or whatever and ended up getting sober. And when that dude August started it, he kind of played off the lyric in the tune Wharf Rat, and that's how they got the name Wharf Rats. And so it's almost kind of a cool, like a little code thing, like,
Billy Strings does it too.
Yeah.
Billy Strings has a Wharf Rat.
I heard that. Yeah, at his concerts.
Places,
Yeah, man. How cool is that, And like I said, when I went to the meeting last year, I didn't share at the meeting last night. It was pretty crowded, and I kind of got there a little late. I was having trouble finding it. But anyways, when I went to the one in Pine Knob where I saw you last year, I did share. And the way they did it, they kind of had this balloon that they were just kind of bouncing from, in the circle, and somebody would tap it, and whoever caught the balloon or whoever it went to, that person would share. And sure enough, the balloon came to me. And so I talked a little bit about relapse. I said, hey, y'all, my name's Glenn. I'm an addict. Glad to be here, y'all. And, I never thought in a million years I'd be at a recovery meeting at a rock and roll concert. And everybody kind of was like, yeah, hey, I'm glad you're here, bro. And I just said, hey, man, if you're a person struggling, maybe you're here at this meeting right now using and on dope, but you came because you have a desire to live or get clean. Keep fucking doing it, because that's where I was, Jeremy. I never thought in a million years, bro, that I would go to an NA meeting high or an NA convention high, but I did after I relapsed because I had that desire. Like we say, you know, there's a tradition. The only membership requirement is a desire to stop using. And when I relapsed, man, I knew I had fucked up, you know, and I had the desire, but that shit had me again, you know. And so that was the message I shared at the Wharf Rats meeting last year, that, hey, man, if you relapse, pick yourself up, be grateful you're still alive and that you got another chance, because there's so many people that don't get that second chance, man. Especially with all this fentanyl shit out there and everything else right now, man. It's fucking killing people, you know. You use some fucking fake pills, or, you know, get some heroin or whatever. You don't know what it's cut with anymore. One fucking dose and you're dead, you know. So, you know, if you're a person like me that had a relapse, maybe you're watching this wishing you could get clean again, pull yourself through it, you can fucking do it, man. Keep coming back, you know. So you remember me sharing there last year? You probably don't remember what I shared, but yeah. Well, bro, it is such an honor to have you on the show today, y'all. I don't want to go too much longer because, again, we want to get in the show, you know. Looks like we're coming up on a half hour. We're going to keep going for a little bit, but anyways, you know, I just thought we'd have Jeremy on to tell us a little bit about his story. And not to sound too flowery, bro, but I really believe in energy and vibes. And for some reason, bro, our paths were supposed to cross here again. It's like, who would have thought?
From DJ Glenn from Detroit,
Yeah.
Orlando. I seen him. I was like, what is Glenn doing in San Francisco?
Yeah,
I'm in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And you were at that other concert. I thought you were here. And then you were at another concert, ended up showing up the next night. It was awesome.
It really, truly is. And hey, I got to send a shout out. I don't know if she's watching live, or hopefully maybe she might see this later. I want to say hi to your mom, Diana, who, again, I've known since, you know, like early 87, man. Miss you, Diana. Love you. And oh my God, I just love your boy, Jeremy. You know, this is so fucking cool to be here with him. And I really do, bro. I just believe for whatever reason, you know, we were supposed to cross paths. And, you know, boy, we both come a long way. And remember when I was living in Orlando, you came to the house with that boy, Doug, when y'all rode your motorcycles all the way down. Yeah, parked your trailer there, and you went down. Did you guys go to see Vito's celebration? Yeah, he's like an NA legend, this dude Vito, y'all, for those who don't know. And a buddy of ours, Doug H. from Detroit, rode down with Jeremy on their motorcycles, parked the trailer at my house when I lived in Northwest Orange County over there in Wekiva, and then rode down to the Keys, right? Yeah. So speaking of Florida, y'all, I'll be at the South Florida Regional Convention of NA coming up in, a few weeks. I think it's the weekend of August 13th. So we're going to go live from Miami on that edition of the show, all the way on the other side of the country. So anyway, I got to ask Katie, are you gonna go on with us, or are you being shy tonight? What do you think? You want to come on and say hi?
Just come on and say hi, babe.
Jeremy's telling her to come on and say hi.
Peer pressure.
Okay, all right. She's going to come over and sit next to me. This is Jeremy's beautiful wife, Katie, who I've also known for quite a while from Detroit City, y'all. Here we are, another Deadhead. Okay, you got to get closer to me. There you go. There she is. What's happening, Katie? Give me a hug. All right. Oh, that's a real NA hug right there, y'all. So, Katie, tell us about this experience. And, you know, Jeremy told us it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment decision. Any regrets, or are you totally enjoying the vibe here?
I am totally enjoying it. No regrets. There can't ever be a regret of coming to San Francisco the first time.
Right.
And getting to see that.
Well, you told me last night that you got to see The Dead when you were like 12 years old with Jerry Garcia. Yes. Tell us about that. Where was it, and what was your memory?
At, the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Yep.
That no longer exists.
In Detroit area. Yep.
In Michigan.
Yep.
And I was 12, and my mom said, hey, I have tickets. We're going to go. And so I didn't want to go.
Right.
Because I thought it was a heavy metal band.
You were like, I want to hang out with all these old folks, right?
No, I thought it was like heavy metal, like I don't know, like just not what I envisioned.
Yeah,
and then I got there,
and it was more of that bluesy vibe, like Jeremy
lighter,
was saying.
Smoking the reefer. There's hippies dancing, and they were selling grilled cheese outside. And I was like, I fall in love.
Yeah, and so you've been coming to shows.
I have
since then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, you mentioned at that show smoking reefer and everything, which that goes on at all concerts, let alone Grateful Dead. But if I may, I'll ask, you live clean and sober now too, right?
I do.
Yeah, and how long, if you don't mind me asking, you've been living clean and sober?
12 years. It'll be 13 in December.
Wow. See, y'all, how cool is that? So I got to say it again for anybody who may come across this podcast that's looking to get clean, looking for a way out, looking for information like I was, whether it's on Google, YouTube, whatever, and you come across our podcast. Here's another example. Jeremy's beautiful wife, Katie. Look how pretty she is. You're so beautiful. You're a lucky guy, Jeremy. Oh, you are. Well, you are, you know. But the point I'm making is, you know, anybody can do it, y'all. Anybody can do it. You just got to make your mind up and get yourself through it. And,
one day at a time.
Yeah, say that, Katie. Yeah, you know. So the beautiful Katie and my boy Jeremy joined us live today on the Dare Me podcast. Jeremy, come over and get in the shot, y'all, because I'm going to sign off. And can you kind of get into it?
I have to come back here now.
Oh, of course. Well, we'll sign off together, all three of us. All right. Hey, Dean, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Yeah.
Okay. You had Lori Lee Kutcher. She's been kind of chiming in. She's saying hey, and Shivang is in there. He's saying hey, what's up?
Oh, okay, cool.
Give him some shout outs, and then you can do what you want to do.
Okay, y'all. Dean was just telling me we got people watching live, and there's people in the chat room, and there's people saying hi. So I want to say hi to Lori T. I want to say hi to that boy Shivang. Shivang, I did see you tried calling me earlier, bro. I'm sorry, I was just so busy getting ready. I couldn't take your call. I told my boy Jim Grace I was going to do a shout out from Garden City, Michigan. We talked on the phone today while I was driving, and I told him I'd do a shout out. Any shout outs you got? We did one for Diana, and I want to send a shout out, Shivang. My boy Jeremy, we talked about you last night, man. We did too. We were gossiping about your ass. Get your shit together, bro.
Glenn, look beneath Lori. I put her graphic up on the phone.
Okay, I see it.
You said
Lori
T.
Lori K. Used to be T. Now it's Lori K.
Okay.
But Shivang, Jeremy, he said to get a hold of him, bro. He's got you. So we'll talk more about that later. But anyway, so yeah, I was going to say I want to send a shout out to that boy Keith, my boy Keith, Diana's husband, you know. And yeah, Keith boy, good to hear you're doing well, man. We were gossiping about you last night too. We went out for dinner after the show, and I bumped into them last night.
Good story about Keith.
Yeah, I did. I went to the World NA convention in Portland back in 1990, and my boy Keith R. and I went together, and man, he tried to quit smoking cigarettes that weekend, and I won't get into the whole story, but damn, he picked the wrong weekend to try to quit smoking. He was cranky, but God bless you, bro. I love you, Keith. And that's a funny story. So anyway, Dean, anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up?
You can get clean and stay clean.
Yes.
The younger, the better.
Yes.
You can get clean in your 20s. You can get clean in your teens.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how old you are.
That's right. That's right.
Get clean, stay clean, and enjoy a beautiful life.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for such a wonderful message. Katie, thank you for joining us. Again, shout out to everybody watching, everybody in the chat. And Dean, anything you want to add before we wrap up, bro?
I hope you don't miss the song, but my favorite Grateful Dead song is I Will Get By.
Oh, yeah, there you go, bro. Well, okay, Dean, thank you again for holding it down in the studio in Orlando. We are live in San Francisco, right outside of Oracle Park, and we're about to vibe to the very last Grateful Dead and Dead and Company show, y'all. So we're going to go. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Dean. Peace.
Have a great show. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.